Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 24 based on novel. So let's start. The Golden Light said, if you have made it here, then it is proof you have the foundation necessary to assimilate the energy of the first seal. In order for you to absorb the soul one of the Golden Dragon King, you must first be physically strong. Secondly, you will also need external help. For your first seal, you will need to find 3 objects. These 3 objects can be used to help increase your physical strength. I have been awakened, so I will wait for you to prepare these 3 objects. When you apply all 3 of them at the same time, I will then help you break through the power of the first seal. You have to remember, the soul of the Golden Dragon King has a double-edged effect on your body. When you consume the soul, it will strengthen you. If you take too long to absorb it, however, then the seal will not be able to continue its suppression of the soul. You will die once you reach 10 years of age. Find those 3 objects, otherwise, I will not be able to withhold the pressure of the first seal. 10 years old? He was only half a year away from his 10th birthday. What are those 3 objects? Tang Wulin hurriedly asked his question. 100-year ice crystal fruit, 100-year scarlet flame fruit, and 10 drops of blood from a 100-year soul beast with a dragon bloodline. Just by hearing those names, Tang Wulin knew that the items would come with a hefty price tag. He hadn't even previously heard the names of those 2 aforementioned fruits, not to mention the 10 drops of blood from a 100-year soul beast, which was even more. Excuse me, but soul beasts are extinct. Where can I find them? Cried Tang Wulin, his expression stunned. The golden light quieted down for a moment, as if in thought. It then answered in a glum-sounding voice, I do not know as well. I can only tell you what information I have. As to how you are to be able to do this, or how you accomplish it, that is your problem to solve. I cannot help you figure this out. I can only remind you that you must break the first seal and absorb the suppressed soul by 10 years of age. Otherwise, you will die. When you have found these objects, enter a meditative state once more and focus on the image of a dragon. I will then escort you here. Now, I shall bring you out of this place. Please wait, Tang Wulin hurriedly pleaded. I am only a thread of divine consciousness, and there is a limit to how long I can stay here. Please stop prolonging my stay. The golden light sounded severe as it spoke. Tang Wulin asked, why do scales appear when I am in contact with certain objects? Like when I was stabbed by Xie's light dragon dagger. Does this have something to do with the Golden Dragon King? The golden light replied, yes. When your blood makes contact with other dragon-type objects or beings, the power of the Golden Dragon King will temporarily appear. You cannot control this power as you have yet to break the seal. Therefore, you must find these 3 objects quickly. Tang Wulin had much more to ask, but his surroundings suddenly distorted and began to spin. He woke the next moment. His body was soaked in sweat, and he felt an unspeakable pain. He also clearly felt that his high body temperature had begun to cool. Was it a dream or not a dream? No, it was not. If it wasn't for his previous experiences, then he would have thought it were a kind of dreamland. Yet, was it truly as simple as a dream? If it were a dream, then why did it feel so real to him? Why did golden scales appear when he was stabbed by the light dragon dagger? Why was he so weak and ordinary when he was young, yet had become so much stronger after his martial soul awakened? But if it wasn't a dream, then why was there a dragon soul within his body that was constantly endangering his life? That golden figure of light had said that although this was a crisis, it was also an opportunity. To absorb the soul of a dragon, what would he become then? There were numerous questions in his head, and the golden light's explanations didn't answer them. Shaking his head forcefully, he calmed his thoughts and got out of bed. He went to the washing room in order to clean his body and then changed into dry clothes. After that, he went back to bed. Calm. I have to be calm, he said to himself. As he took in a deep breath, Tang Wulin's eyes became focused. At least 2 points could be summarized. First, there truly was a dragon soul in his body and it was a threat to his life until he could absorb it. Second, if he could absorb the dragon soul, then his strength would gradually become even stronger. Thus, the first thing he had to do was find those 3 objects the golden light had mentioned to him. After that, he would then try to absorb the power suppressed by the first seal. Only when he tried it could he understand what it was. If he absorbed the soul, could he then control the power of those scales? He was only 9 years old, and his mindset wasn't too mature yet. The concept of death to him wasn't as terrible as what adults thought. Even if his heart did have fear, the fear wasn't that strong. 100-year ice crystal fruit, 100-year scarlet flame fruit, 10 drops of blood from a dragon-type soul beast. Merely the names of those objects gave him the impression that they were not commonly found. Where could he find them? With a belly filled with helplessness, Tang Wulin restarted his meditation. This time around, he successfully entered a meditative state. Sun with rays. Morning arrived and the 4 occupants of the dorm woke up, appearing fully recharged. Let's go. Wulin, let's go eat. Xie jumped off his bed. Tang Wulin answered him helplessly, you haven't even washed yourself. Eh? I'm a little hungry. Let's go wash ourselves quickly. Tang Wulin spoke up, Xie, I have something to ask. Have you heard of some objects called an ice crystal fruit and a scarlet flame fruit? Xie was stunned when he heard Tang Wulin. Ice crystal fruit? Scarlet flame fruit? Of course I've heard of them. Aren't those ordinary spirit fruits? You can easily find them in the marketplace. They are fruits that are very effective in nourishing martial souls with ice and fire properties. Your martial soul is plant type though, so aren't those fruits pretty useless? Tang Wulin was jubilant after hearing what Xie said. He was most afraid that no one would know of these items or where to get them. Then, those spirit fruits expensive? Tang Wulin lowered his voice as he asked further. Xie said, not bad, about 10,000 to 20,000 Federation coins for each, depending on quality. 10,000 to 20,000? This was a sum he could afford. Tang Wulin brightened up. If its quality is good, would that mean it's something like 100-year ice crystal fruit and such? Xie rolled his eyes. Have some common sense, please. A 10-year spirit fruit would be considered pretty good. A 100-year fruit would only be found in auctions, and would be considered spirit treasures. If it's a 1,000-year fruit, then it would be considered a heaven and earth treasure. The meaning of a heaven and earth treasure is that it would be considered priceless. Tang Wulin gave a bitter laugh. Then, how much would a 100-year ice crystal fruit and scarlet flame fruit cost? Xie answered, those 2 fruits are more commonly seen than others, but the demand is quite high as well. As such, the price is still reasonable. I'd say it would cost probably 80,000 to 100,000 Federation coins for each one at an auction. Tang Wulin was awestruck when he heard of the price. 80,000 to 100,000? For each one? Following the Golden Light's explanation that he had only half a year to find these items, how would he gain the ability to earn such a large sum? Wulin, what's going on with you? Why would you ask this all of a sudden? Spirit fruits have little use for us, as their medicinal effects are too strong. They might even endanger a human's life. Unless it were a unique situation, they wouldn't be something you'd normally use. They could possibly affect our foundations. There might even be side effects. 1,000-year fruits should be excluded, however, yet those aren't things just anyone can easily obtain. A 1,000-year spirit fruit can also be counted as rare as a soul beast. If it reaches 10,000 years, it would even have its own soul. Tang Wulin's mood gradually calmed down, and he looked towards Xie. Xie, can you bring me to the auction house during this week's rest day? I have never set foot in an auction house before. Sure. Xie agreed without a second thought. He was one who treated strangers coldly, but he changed drastically when treating a friend. Xie was actually a person with frank characteristics. Xie moved on to wash up, but Tang Wulin stayed back and retrieved his rarely used soul communicator from the storage ring. He dialed the first contact stored on the communicator. Do. Wulin? What's the matter? Mang Tian's familiar voice flowed from the other end of the communicator. Teacher, would you be coming to East Sea City during this week's rest day? Tang Wulin asked. Mang Tian questioned, why? Do you have some questions about forging? Tang Wulin replied, no, but I have something I would like to discuss with you. Mang Tian grew silent for a while before saying, that's great. Teacher has something to discuss with you as well. I'll come by in the afternoon of that rest day. Yes, I'll wait at the workshop, Tang Wulin answered respectfully. Tang Wulin's eyes gave off a hint of deep contemplation as soon as the communication ended. The seal was there, but he had only half year's worth of time. What he needed the most now was money. He needed to earn more money. Yet, he knew well that with his current situation, this was impossible. He had to think of some other ways. Eat, study, class promotion tournament. The days flew by quickly. Tang Wulin's trio had begun to be pointed out of the crowd countless times throughout the day. Naturally, this was because of the events at the entrance gates the day before. Many people found it strange that Tang Wulin's trio hadn't been punished by the academy. In fact, everything went on like normal, as if nothing had happened at all. The number of students who had gathered around Wu Zhongkong to watch him grew even larger now, so much so that many teachers weren't even able to enter. After the previous day's battle, the icily arrogant Prince Charming's fame had reached a whole new level. He wasn't just the female student's Prince Charming now, rather, he was the Prince Charming of the entire academy. Despite all of this, Wu Zhongkong showed no reaction at all and was his same old self. In the match after school with the first grades Class 2, Tang Wulin, Xie and Ji Yu hadn't expended too much strength. Only one of their opponents had a 100-year soul ring, and when faced with the coordination of Tang Wulin's trio, they were completely helpless. Xie was supported by Ji Yu's firepower and was easily able to defeat their opponents. 3 battles, 3 victories. With the addition of the outburst at the gates the day before, Class 5 had become the focus of attention of the entire academy. Tomorrow was their rest day, and after their rest day, it would come time for them to challenge Class 1. Every single grade's Class 1 was completely different from the rest. That was because Class 1 was a gathering of that year's most outstanding geniuses. In the last 20 years, Class 1 had never been defeated by a class below them in ranking. After eating dinner, Tang Wulin and Xie prepared to return to their dorm, but Ji Yu stopped them. Where are you two going tomorrow? Hurry up and tell me, otherwise, you can't blame me for being rude. Ji Yu spoke with her hands on her hips and gave them a fierce expression. Although she wasn't particularly beautiful, she was definitely pretty. With her appearance like this, others couldn't help but laugh. Why do we need to tell you where we're going or what we're doing? Xie snorted out. Ji Yu's mouth twitched as she said, I already heard what you guys were talking about when we were eating. You guys are going out tomorrow. It's fine if you don't tell me, but I'll just go and find Teacher Wu and ask him for additional training. Then you two can forget about running off tomorrow. And in any case, we're going to do battle with Class 1 soon, so extra training would be fitting. How can you be so loathsome? Xie stared at her with wide eyes before turning it into a glower. Ji Yu coldly snorted. I'm just this annoying. Got a problem? Are you going to tell me or not? Tang Wulin hastily smoothed things over. Ji Yu, I'm the one who asked Xie to take me to the auction house tomorrow. I haven't ever been to one before. Ji Yu smiled. Good. Then we'll all go together then. Xie avoided looking at her as he said, Who wants you to come? This is a man's matter. Ji Yu answered, I didn't say I want to go with you either. With your revolting behavior, it'll be fine if it's just me and Wulin. Xie eyed her suspiciously. Although he was only 9 years old, Tang Wulin was still exceptionally handsome. Could it be that you like Wulin? You're only this old yet you've matured so much already. Are you looking to die? Ji Yu raised her hand, sending an ice ball flying towards him. Xie evaded it in a flurry. Ha ha. It looks like I was right. I'll go tell Teacher Wu that you're following bad examples at such a young age. You can do so if you wish to die. Gu threw herself forwards, a bright light flying from her hand as she chased after Xie Xie. Tang Wulin helplessly looked at the two of them. He had long since gotten used to the scene of their squabbling. All he could do was raise his arms and stop their fighting. Sun with rays. Ultimately, the three of them set off early in the morning the next day. Xie Xie had wanted to leave early to throw off Gu, but was unable to have his way. Gu was waiting at the dormitory doors and caught him red-handed. Xie Xie, where is the auction house? Tang Wulin curiously asked as they walked. Xie Xie shot a glance at the smiling Gu to the side. It's in the East Sea Museum. Our East Sea City's auction house is combined with the museum. There's a special place to exhibit auction goods in the museum. They will also periodically hold auctions. Let's go look at the goods on exhibition. The auction times will also be listed there. Gu curiously asked Tang Wulin, Wulin, how come you suddenly wanted to go to the auction house? I never saw you show this much interest in it before. Tang Wulin said, it's just a sudden whim. Let's just go and casually take a look. East Sea Museum was located just south of East Sea City's center. It was a simple and unadorned building, and consisted of one main building and two secondary buildings. The main building had on exhibition with all sorts of rare sold beast specimen. East Sea City had encountered all sorts of items and beasts over the various ages. To the left was a secondary building, which was the auction house's goods exhibition area Xie Xie had spoken of. As for the auction house itself, it was on the upper levels of the main building. The auction house's goods exhibition area within the secondary building didn't require one to purchase a ticket to enter, and one could directly enter as one pleased. The number of people who were looking at the goods within numbered more than just a few. The secondary building had 4 floors in total. Although it was just a secondary building, its size was still enormous. Looking at it from the outside, the building was at least 200 meters wide. East Sea City was the second largest city on the eastern coast, and this was the city's only auction house. Naturally, its size had to be great. Goods were being exhibited on all 4 floors. They were, however, separated according to their grade. Naturally, some of the rarer and more expensive items would only be displayed in special areas that weren't open to just anyone. As soon as they entered, the trio saw an enormous signboard that showed that the first floor was divided into 2 large sections, sold devices and non-sold device. Within these 2 divisions, the sold device area was divided further into uncommon metal section and a larger finished sold devices section. Where are we going? Xie Xie could vaguely guess Tang Wulin's purpose in coming to the auction house, but he still directly asked Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin said, let's go to the non-sold device section. I want to see if they are auctioning those 2 fruits I told you about that day. Spirit fruit? You want to buy some spirit fruit? Gu curiously asked. Tang Wulin said, I don't really want to. I'm just a bit curious and want to take a look, that's all. Although Xie Xie and Gu were his friends, the matter pertaining to the Golden Dragon King was simply too shocking to tell them. He was still very young, yet he knew that this was the type of secret he absolutely couldn't tell anybody. Then let's go take a look. Clearly, it wasn't Xie Xie's first time here. He was at ease as he guided the other 2 into the exhibition hall. Their surroundings were filled with enormous glass display cases. Within them were countless things Tang Wulin had never even heard of before. The cheapest of the items would still cost at least 100,000 federal coins. These glass cases were all manufactured using a special transparent alloy and were definitely incomparable with normal glass. This is the spirit fruit section. You go and take a look then. After they entered an expansive rectangular room, Xie Xie stopped. The room was approximately 300 square meters in area. It contained all sorts of spirit fruit and rare plants. Every single spirit fruit had a description attached to them. Dragon spirit grass, 10 years. A rare plant. The starting auction price for it was 260,000 Federation coins, and it was expected to be sold between 300,000 to 350,000 Federation coins. Water crystal peach, 20 to 30 years. A spirit fruit that nourishes the body. For this fruit, the starting auction price was 150,000 Federation coins. The expected end price was 180,000 to 210,000 Federation coins. They are all so expensive. Tang Wulin looked at all of these spirit fruits and grimaced. Quickly, he took another long look and finally found the spirit fruit he was looking for. It was in the final area he searched. Ice crystal fruit, 30 years. An ice-type spirit fruit, rare. Nourishes water-type martial souls. It can also help increase one's soul power. The starting auction price for this fruit was set at 180,000 Federation coins. Expected end price was 220,000 to 250,000 Federation coins. Scarlet flame fruit, 40 years. Fire attribute, rare. Nourishes fire-type martial souls, and can help increase soul power. The starting auction price for this fruit was 160,000 Federation coins and was expected to be sold between 220,000 to 230,000 Federation coins. Ice crystal fruit was a type of fruit that appeared glittery, translucent, and light blue in color. This 40-year-old ice crystal fruit's size was similar to that of a longan. When viewed beneath a light, wavy lines of white became visible. Scarlet flame fruit was a spirit fruit that was deep red in color with some pale golden sparkles gleaming on its surface. Its size was only a bit larger than that of the ice crystal fruit. After verifying with his own eyes that both spirit fruits truly did exist, Tang Wulin's trust in the golden figure's words increased by a bit. Yet, the ages of these two fruits was far from being the 100-year fruits he needed. Right, these are the ones. Xie unexpectedly appeared and walked up to Tang Wulin's side. This is ice crystal fruit, and that is scarlet flame fruit. Tang Wulin mumbled, but they are not 100-year fruits. Xie answered, this is an auction. The rarer the good, the higher the level it'll be auctioned at. These are only normal goods of the first level. I believe the 100-year fruits can be found at the second level, but we can't go up to the second level. Tang Wulin questioned, why not? Xie replied, to enter the second level, you would need to first pay a deposit in order to gain the qualifications to bid. Either that, or you must be a third-rank professional and can enter and visit. Deposit? How much is this deposit? Tang Wulin asked. Xie looked at him with a strange expression. You seem very eager to get that 100-year ice crystal fruit and scarlet flame fruit, ah? Otherwise, why are you being so serious? Tang Wulin gave a gentle sigh and simply said, please, just continue and explain. Observing the bitterness in Wulin's gaze, Xie frowned. Wulin, have you met with some misfortune? Tang Wulin shook his head. I don't want to lie to you, and I can't tell you either. If you don't explain, then I'll ask someone else. After seeing that Tang Wulin was set to move away, Xie hurriedly stopped him. All right, I'll tell you. The deposit sum is 100,000 to enter the second level. When you reach the third level, you need to add another 100,000 to the deposit. As you move to higher levels, the value of the goods increase and so does the deposit sum. 100,000? Tang Wulin had truly saved up quite a sum of money these past few months and could produce a sum of 100,000. That deposit sum, however, really discouraged him. Then he recalled that Xie had mentioned third-rank professionals. Would any professional of third rank qualify for entry? Xie answered, of course. Third-rank professionals are considered elite class. Third-rank Soul Grandmasters are also the equivalent of third-rank professionals. Yet, you have some distance to go before reaching the level of Soul Grandmaster. Not so for me. Soul Master? Tang Wulin really had some distance to go just to reach rank 20, but he was a blacksmith as well. After his time completing numerous tasks for the Blacksmiths Association, his understanding of the association grew. He now knew that the 1,000 refinements was an indication of a third-rank blacksmith, and the only obstacle he had to becoming one was Mang Qian disallowing him from revealing his skill. This was the reason why Tang Wulin hadn't tried the third-rank blacksmith examination. This afternoon, Mang Tian would be arriving at East Sea City. Tang Wulin's call the other night requesting Mang Tian's visit was for the exact reason of allowing Tang Wulin try the third-rank blacksmith examination. After becoming a third-rank blacksmith, his pay for completing tasks would be much greater. Xie continued, Wulin, if there are areas in which you need my help, please let me know. I'll help you to the best of my abilities. Ian. I'm fine. Okay, let's continue and check the other goods. He concealed his emotions. Since he'd confirmed that the auction house had the items he was looking for, he would come back again when he had the ability to do so. As for the 10 drops of blood from a dragon-type 100-year-old beast, there might be a chance he could also find it here. Yet, he kept quiet about it in the presence of Guu and Xie. The most important mission today was to check out the area. In the end, this auction house trip hadn't gone to waste. The trio took a stroll around the first level and, aside from learning about new items, they also checked out a few familiar places. For example, forged metals. The rare metals found on the first level were only 100 refined ones. This level of refinement on the first level meant that 1,000 refined metals should be found on the second level. This discovery filled his heart with hope. If he could qualify as a third-rank blacksmith and take on third-rank forging tasks with sufficient time, it would become possible for him to gather enough funds. After they left the auction house, the trio headed back to the academy for lunch. It wasn't that they didn't want to have lunch outside the academy, but Tang Wulin's appetite was too amazing. He was reluctant to ask Xie and Guu to pay for a meal, so heading back to the academy to eat for free was the most cost-efficient decision. I'll be going to the forging workshop this afternoon. You guys should go back and train. Right, can you also go and collect information on Class 1? We have no knowledge about them, Tang Wulin said to Xie. Xie knew about Tang Wulin's habit of going to the workshop every week during their rest day. Fine, you can go. Isn't it only Class 1? I can defeat them on my own, Xie arrogantly declared. Aren't you afraid a huge gale might cut off that tongue of yours? At that moment, a strange, cynical voice sounded. 3 little fish from Class 5, now that's what I call arrogance. Tang Wulin, Xie, and Guu turned at the same time and found a few intermediate division students standing a short distance away, their ages similar to the trio's ages. The person who spoke was a young boy with center-parted hair and good features. While his looks were good, he had thin lips, which coupled with his sarcastic comment, made it difficult for others to produce goodwill towards him. Besides him, the others standing with him all had stony expressions as they glared at the trio. Xie's expression turned cold as he pounded the table. Just as he was about to move towards them, Tang Wulin pulled Xie back. He spoke to Xie in a low voice, "We have already caused enough trouble for Teacher Wu. Can't you control yourself?" Glaring icily, Xie spoke out, "You guys must be from Class 1. After tomorrow, you'll simply be Class 2. The eccentric boy laughed. "Good then. I want to see what kind of skill you guys have that will move us to Class 2. His eyes brightened as he spoke. He tensed, then his body suddenly grew a bit and seemed to become exceptionally soft. 2 yellow rings appeared from beneath his feet as cyan scales emerged from his neck. His eyes turned into vertical slits. 2 rings? A Soul Grandmaster? Tang Wulin's trio were all startled. Even though their opponents were Class 1, they should have been of a similar level. They were all just 9 years old after all. The fact that he was already a Soul Grandmaster was absolutely shocking. Tang Wulin took a step forward to place himself in front of Guu and Xie. Despite the powerful aura of the other party, Tang Wulin actually felt joyful. He didn't feel fearful at all. A white soul ring rose from beneath his feet and blue-silver grass rushed out from his palms. Ha ha. Trash with only a single 10-year soul ring dares to be so arrogant. This is just too funny. But you can be at ease, I won't put you guys in your place right now, I'll wait until we're on the competition stage before I do so. I'll let you know the difference between geniuses and trash. I am Wei Xiaofeng from 1st grade Class 1. Remember my name. Having said this, Wei Xiaofeng withdrew his soul power, causing his body to return to normal before turning around, proudly leaving. Bastard! Xie wanted to rush over, but Tang Wulin's blue-silver grass was already wrapped around his waist, restraining him. Don't be fooled, Tang Wulin said. He wants us to act first so that he won't receive any punishment from the academy. Just wait until we get on stage. A cold light flickered within Xie's eyes. Are 2 soul rings really that amazing? Humph. We'll just have to wait and see. Tang Wulin said, I'm going to the workshop first, then. Teacher Wu isn't going to help us analyze our opponents. He always left it to us to adapt, so you two go think of a way to investigate the situation in Class 1 and we'll meet up to discuss it tonight. Although Xie wasn't completely convinced, the 3 of them still felt quite a bit of pressure when Wei Xiaofeng revealed his 2 soul rings. Faced with this kind of opponent, how would they secure victory? 9 years old and he had 2 rings, he was definitely a genius among geniuses. It had to be said that under normal circumstances, Class 1s of the other grades wouldn't have anyone with 2 soul rings until at least the 3rd grade. Xie questioned whether or not he himself was truly a genius. After all, there was still a gap between him and someone with 2 rings. All right. We'll teach them a lesson tomorrow, Xie said as he walked off with a gloomy expression. Gu walked over to Tang Wulin's side, an easy smile on her face. No need to pay attention to them. We'll definitely beat them. She patted Tang Wulin's shoulder before she also moved to leave. Gu's petite body was quickly swallowed by the crowd. Tang Wulin clenched his fists a few times. His teammates were so strong, yet, as their captain, his strength was so modest. Regardless of whether it was for the sake of survival or for becoming stronger, he needed to quickly obtain the ice crystal fruit and scarlet flame fruit. Mang Qian hadn't arrived yet when he got to the workshop, so Tang Wulin began working on the forging task he'd accepted the week before. With his continued practice of the 1,000 refined heavy silver hammers, second-rank blacksmith tasks were already easy for him. None of them resulted in defective products and he was now able to accept 2 tasks each week. As such, he was able to make even more money. Tang Wulin took out all of his savings. After counting it all, he discovered he had over 320,000 federal coins. Although it was still short the price of the ice crystal fruit and scarlet flame fruit, it wouldn't be too hard to make up the difference if he could accept 3rd-rank tasks. Tang Wulin sat there staring blankly at a chunk of metal he had 100 refined. Ever since he had arrived in East Sea City, many things had occurred and changed his life. He had encountered many things that didn't even exist in Glory-bound City. After several months, the hesitation in his heart gradually faded away. A wonderful world had opened up to him and along with improving his strength, he had found value in being a part of the Blacksmiths Association. His self-confidence had increased by a lot. He always kept the words his father had said to him within his heart before he had left. You must always look forward. That's right. I can only move forward to see an even more wonderful world. Right at that moment, the sound of a door opening came from outside. Tang Wulin hastily went over to give his greetings. Mang Qian was dressed in ordinary grey clothes, giving him a travel-worn appearance. Teacher, Tang Wulin hastily called out in respect. Ian. Mang Qian responded with that single grunt as he took off his coat and went in. Tang Wulin had long since become accustomed to his teacher's habits. Every single time Mang Qian visited, he would inspect all of the finished goods and Tang Wulin's forging progress. After hanging his teacher's coat, Tang Wulin quickly followed him into the workshop. Mang Qian was playing with the uncommon metal Tang Wulin had just finished. As he became increasingly familiar with the tasks of the Blacksmiths Association, the tasks Tang Wulin accepted grew more difficult. For example, these kinds of 100 refined uncommon metal tasks were already at the peak of the 2nd rank. He would earn over 30,000 federal coins each time. Ian. Not bad. Your purification is precise. Mang Qian nodded. Considering how strict he was, being able to say such praise was already amazing. This is all due to teacher's guidance, Tang Wulin quickly said. Mang Qian put the metal in his hand down and turned to face him. Have you learned how to be glib too? Tang Wulin stuck out his tongue. No. Those words are from my heart. Mang Qian said, don't you have something to talk with me about? Out with it. Although Tang Wulin had already made a firm resolution, when he faced his teacher, he still hesitated for a moment. But it was just a moment's hesitation that was overcome by the crisis of his survival. Teacher, I want to take the third-rank blacksmith's test, said Tang Wulin after he drummed up his courage. Mang Qian was stunned for a moment. Why? I need more money to improve myself, answered Tang Wulin. Mang Qian regarded him in complete silence. Tang Wulin felt nervous. Having finished speaking, he lowered his head, awaiting his teacher's criticism. He clearly understood the reason Mang Qian wasn't allowing him to take the third-rank blacksmith's test. While he had never doubted his teacher before, right now he really was too desperate for money. How are you going to improve? Mang Qian asked after his long silence. This video will end here.